Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our coverage of Delta Fox versus Counterlogic Gaming Academy. Once again, let's dive straight into the picks and bans for Game 2, because we kind of saw like some great fight out of Delta Fox, but they weren't able to close the gap once it turned in a little bit more of a macro play.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things I struggle with clearly is trading objectives when they get even. This time around, I like what I'm seeing. They stick with that Bard pick. Tristana being another scaling champion, giving Amakipai a little bit more room to work,
right,
as well as bringing the magic damage in the top side with the Rumble, because they got the Yasuo, the boy in the mid lane. On the flip side, CLG Academy going with that Echo, taking a little bit of an assassin matchup right there. They also have the Ken in the top side, the Nidalee, while keeping that pick potential in the bot lane with Ashe and Thresh.
I think that's one of the big picks there. You touched on it. Kennen again in the top side. We saw Darius kind of get not sure how to handle the split push and the pressure that came with the split push. Rumble, I don't think is going to help him out too much.
No, Rumble is not a very fun matchup to play into Kennen, so he's going to be on the back foot for most of this game. It's going to be on the other lanes to kind of make up for the deficit that will definitely accrue on the top side. Darius taking one for the team here. Infamous for doing that on TSM, bringing some magic damage that was probably sorely needed on the top side.
I'm loving the fact, though, that Zag and Phil are back on the same champions that they had last game. They found a lot of success on the Ashe, a lot of success on the Thresh. Same thing with Shifter. Shifter was making some big plays until things kind of went down the wrong road, but I think that there's a lot of positive things that we can find from Delta Fox's support.
Yeah, and this time Scar is also on a little bit more aggressive of a champion. The Rek'Sai being able to scrap better than a Nunu, and we know Delta Fox's style is pretty scrappy, and so if you're running around just ice blasting people, it's not as effective as it could be.
Well, I hope that Scar is going to be able to set up the boy with some nice final breaths here. Yasuo ultimates to change and take over the game as Omar got on another carry champion here. This time it's going to be Nidalee as a little bit of aggression. Darius, get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of this top river. Actually, he's taking a lot of damage. The spear's going to land. Oh! Forcing the flash out is Phil.
And things weren't going to be fun for Darius at the beginning. Going to go even worse now. Loses his flash level 1 versus Ken and Nidalee. Could be in a tough spot here. Talk about the knockups from Scar. Don't forget, you can go off the Buster shot as well.
That's correct. So a couple of playmaking champions to help out Voyboy in the mid lane. He didn't do too bad. He didn't do too bad in the mid lane against Tuesday, but Tuesday was able to finally scale up and pop off later on in the game.
That's kind of the story of Victor for the most part in the early game. You're just trading to stay even, keep your pressure up, focus on wave clearing, and then come mid-late game, you do a lot of damage. So it's about getting there without ending up in a deficit, and if you can grab a lead, great.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but Delta Fox should be winning these lanes. They've got great mechanical skill, and again, it was only a 3,000 gold lead about 20 to 25 minutes into the game until it popped open, so hopefully they'll be able to continue to push that lead as you see Omar getting a little aggressive and taking the blue buff away from Skara.
Some early counter jungling out of both of them. Skara goes over the wall, going to take this Scuttle Crab. Hold on, PewDiePie might be getting all in level 2.
He is in a little bit of trouble, but turns that one around. Explosive shot going to be put onto Phil. Phil's going to take that one. Not the worst trade in the world, but Zach still firing off auto attacks, and Shifter keeps taking them as well.
Omar God goes across, steals those buffs, ends up on a ward though by Darius. Just lets Scar know, who was on the flip side of the map doing a similar path. Instead of going buff, camp like Omar God did, he did camp, buff, Scuttle Crab, buff. So a little bit ahead, and now he's in a position to potentially wrap around gank on this bot lane of CLG Academy, who don't really seem to know at all where he is.
All right, way to go, Scar. He is able to go over the wall, flashes up, does knock up Phil, forces a heal and a flash from the bot lane of Counterlogic Gaming Academy, but now the damage is getting turned around. Scar does not have flash.
Cutie.
Ignite going down. Cutie taking tower shot, forced to flash away, and now Shifter is all alone in front. He does not have flash, and he's going to be in a lot of trouble. Zag's going to pick this one up. First blood heading on over to Counterlogic Gaming Academy.
There's a 2v3 outplay on the side of CLG Academy, getting that first blood. Voyboy roams down, comes onto a ward. It's going to be hard for him to get involved against the Thresh. There you see why that Flay, great for keeping a Yasuo out early on.
So no dancing there by Voyboy, and unfortunately, after what looked like to be a good setup here, it gets turned around.
Yeah, and that's one of the things with this Rek'Sai gank early on. You come over the wall, and you're trying to force summoners, not trade. So you just want to walk up, wait for them to have to kite back onto you or kite into your team. And then you get the knock up. He goes to the flash knock up right away, so he gets picked apart. And now, Boy, on his way back to mid lane, gets caught out of position.
The Boy does. Parallel convergence might be enough. Nice wind wall, but not going to be enough. Omar God picking that one up with Tuesday.
2-0 start on the side of CLG Academy, off to a quick 1.3K gold lead just about.
What a bummer, because if you look at the CS in the mid lane, even though Boy roamed down to the bottom side of the map, it was relatively equal.
Relatively equal, but at the same time, probably falling a little bit behind XP. We'll take another look at that one. Yeah, Boy coming back to the mid lane after that early roam to the bot side.
Bam!
Just face check straight in there. Gets CC'd up, taken down extremely low. Almost able to get the flash dash away. Gets a nice wind wall to break that Q from Tuesday, but too much mobility on the side of CLG Academy, and they follow for that kill.
The double tomes, double books in the mid lane. Gonna help out Tuesday here.
Scholar build.
Is that what it is? Tuesday bringing Boy to school?
College build. Librarian build.
Librarian build.
Keep going, but I don't think you want me to.
No, go ahead.
I'm actually out of things.
Oh, that's
we're trying to build synergy here, D-Gon. You got to know what I'm out of ideas.
Set you up for victory and show off how big your brain.
I'm tossing you the transition. Get me out of here.
All right, we're out of here, and we're back in the mid lane because Boy is saying, I don't want to go to school. Take a little bit of my Steel Tempest as he pressures Tuesday under the tower.
He's a Boy genius. He doesn't need to go to school.
He doesn't need to go to school. He's going to be able to bounce back from this one as we have a fatty rotation coming from Shifter and Cutie Pie from the bottom side into the mid lane. Tuesday kind of sniffs it out, though. They did run over a ward in the river.
And he's playing back, but he does not have his ultimate available yet. Is down that flash for that kill, so if he's not careful, he could get dove under this turret. Looks like they're going to look for it. The minion wave is there. Tuesday sets up the shield.
He does get the parallel convergence, does stun. Boy tanking the tower. That might not be what you want, but the kill is picked up by Shifter. Tapanya picking up that one. Cutie Pie, nice play to get away from Omar. But the javelin does land, pop up there, but still no ultimate from Boy. And another Cosmic Binding, and it's a little bit of supportal combat here on the bottom side. Shifter more than happy to take that one, but will walk away.
Nice fancy feat to dodge out on that hook. A good dive out of Delta Fox. And there you see that when they're able to set up their own plays, they often are able to convert them pretty well, especially when you get Shifter involved in on them. But if you're the one making the play against Delta Fox, they're not quite ready for them and often fall behind, not finding a good counter to it, and just get kind of blown up while not being prepared on the other side.
Hey, look, there's top laners. Dyrus did lose his flash early, didn't fall too far behind, so he's doing, I think, a relatively good job in this tough matchup.
Yeah, definitely doing a good job. Both of them taking D-Shield early on. He had to play with the fact that he knew it was a split map situation for almost that entire early game. And now, with Scar coming in, might be looking for an all-in.
The Equalizer not going to land. Fallen Bandit is pretty low, but Dyrus turned this one around, and for the first time this series, he's up 1-0.
And meanwhile, on the bot side, we talk about sometimes enemy teams being able to traverse. Delta Fox, a good job out of Shifter and Cutie Pie dodging out on that roam that came in from Tuesday. So a good answer back, closing that gold lead down to about 700-800 from what was close to 2,000.
So 2-2 our score here. 7 minutes, 30 seconds into the game. The buffs should be spawning soon, the red buff and the blue buff, and that might be where we see our next action as both junglers have spotted each other out and the bumper car syndrome continues. They see each other and walk away.
In the wise words of Chiodos, just walk away. Don't know if you got that reference. Anyways, Infernal Dragon's up. Gonna look for CLG Academy to start that one off pretty soon. They do have some vision control down there, but they're down teleport advantage against the Rumble, so unlikely to want to force too much in that bot river.
I didn't get that reference, just in case you didn't get that. That's all right. We're building the synergy. We're getting there.
Someday.
Someday. In the top lane, not in this game, though. Zag is farming up here on the bottom side of the map. Both players, or both teams, just kind of content to slowing down the pace, get the junglers their buffs that they need, find a little bit more aggression. One thing that I like, though, is that Scar's been on top of the pathing so far. Now that we're at the second rotation of buffs, and you can see what happens here. Tuesday and Omar trying to get close, flash away. And look at this, Omar not able to find it. Void Rush, and Scar turns that one around. Big time play by Delta Fox. However, the kill did go down. And so it's a 1-for-1 trade.
Scar doing a much better job keeping pace with Omar God this game now that he's off that Nunu pick onto a champion that can scrap early on. But hold on, Shifter caught a little out of position.
Shifter with the fancy feet, forced to flash away, but uses the magical journey to get to safety. That could have been a lot worse.
Can always be a lot worse. Maybe not so for Delta Fox. This time around, though, they're able to get out just fine. We'll take another look at that replay. Skara making sure he finishes this camp off. Nice step up into the camp instead of going for that. As hold on, we got something going on the bot side.
Yep, teleport coming in, and Cutie Pie wants a piece of that. Hell yeah, he's gonna pick that one up. That's a kill. Dyrus gonna steal that one away. Just making sure
he's got to fix his KDA a little bit from last game, so he's gonna steal that kill away from them. Rumble, honestly, not a bad pick as a top laner to start getting some kills on, especially when you are pretty much the only magic damage available on the side of Delta Fox. Getting him rolling with some early magic penalty would be great, but now Shifter getting a little too aggressive on that warding mission. He gets popped.
Yeah, he does. Tuesday roams down, finds the kill. And so Dyrus is like, hey, look, I'm about to lose my top tower. I better get that kill and the gold to make up for it, as Fallen Bandit is able to go ahead and continue to shut that one down. Infernal Drake is on the map. Both teams don't have vision of it quite yet. I expect that's where the next action will happen.
That's what you'd think. CLG Academy with Fallen Bandit's teleport coming back up in a couple minutes. We'll have a small window where they can potentially look to abuse that and force a play down there. Unfortunately for Delta Fox, Cutie Pie has fallen relatively far behind in farm. Hold on, Dyrus up on the top side.
Yeah, with the face check, the slicing Maelstrom gonna slow down Dyrus a bit. Oh, nice Electro Harpoon, but now Fallen Bandit getting his buns toasted. Flash forward by Dyrus, not gonna be enough. Fallen Bandit now turning this one around. Here comes Cutie Pie, wanted to make the hero play. Rocket Jump not gonna be enough. Scar still wants a little piece of it. Does use the tunnel, too far away. Or is it? The Void Rush going to land, and Fallen Bandit goes down. Skara going big here.
Having a great game. Lands that Prey Seeker, which enables the Void Rush to cap close for a kill. During that time, CLG Academy not letting that rotation go unpunished. They grab the Infernal Dragon and also grab the first third of the game. A nice answer for losing up that kill up in the top side. Delta Fox will, of course, answer that turret with Tristana.
Some nice counter answers by Counter Logic Gaming Academy. Yeah, they're losing players, but they're finding things along the map to pick up. As we see Phil trying to catch out Dyrus. Dyrus throws down the equalizer on the minion wave. Zag, yeah, sorry, that was definitely a question. He definitely did do that. Throw it down on the minion wave to pick up the kills. We see Boy with the last breath going in on Tuesday. Tuesday not able to ult out of that one, so takes it and will walk away. So another kill down on the bottom side of the map for Counter Logic Gaming Academy.
Nice play out of CLG Academy, finding their own kill to answer onto Dyrus. I like the decision by Dyrus to ult the wave instead of looking for a potential trade kill, making sure that they can't actually take the objective in the turret by melting that wave down. And during that time, Boy got a little antsy. He wanted to get involved in the action. Goes just for an ultimate for fun.
Smart play. Can't take the tower if you don't have minions. So Dyrus making the best out of a bad situation and holding the gold lead to less than 2,000 right now. Delta Fox still trying to find their way. As we look at some of the items here, Cutie Pie still needs to build an AD item. We'll probably get that on the back here. There it is, the BF sword. And now Yasuo still trying to scale, get the shiv.
A lot of magic damage on the team. Went for an early Hex Drinker. Makes some sense against the Echo, Nidalee, Kennen. A lot of them hybrid damage as well, bringing a lot of mix of magic and physical damage between all of them.
So things slowing down here. No big time objectives on the map. Pings are going down on the top side as we do see Ashe, Nidalee, Echo, and Thresh all hovering the top side river to maybe brute force down this final outer tower. I guess the outer tower on the top side of the map, they do have the mid lane tower, does Delta Fox.
Looks like Delta Fox is going to kind of give that one up and instead focus on potentially the mid or bot turret. A lot of pings going down. They do have the Rift Herald available. Wouldn't have minded seeing them trying to drop that one down the bot side, but instead looks like they're going to make a play onto Fallen Bandit. He could be in a lot of trouble here.
It does. This looks like yet another patented 5-man versus 1 to make sure they get the kill. Fallen Bandit gets stunned up. And he does go down. Skara picking that one up, 3-1-1. Oh, going golden a little bit too late. Tuesday Chicken able to get himself out of trouble. And nice dark passage by Phil to get the mid laner out of trouble.
A little bit of unfortunate play there out of Delta Fox. When Skara channels that ultimate, he drops turret aggro, goes onto Shifter, the squishiest member of that dive squad that was happening. And so as the collapse came in from Echo, he's actually taking damage from the turret, not able to get the ultimate off him alive during that time. And meanwhile, Zag up on the top side, he's plenty happy playing some PvE.
Yep, hacking away at the tower. Not only gets the top outer, gets the top inner. And unfortunately, Delta Fox not able to find the answer for that. Boy, though, is looking for something long-range magical journey. Fake auto attack forces Zag to flash away, so small victory here for Delta Fox. But CLG Academy coming away over as we take a look at that dive on the bot side.
So you see Skara starts that house turret aggro for a little bit, but then once he ults, it drops onto Shifter. Shifter, with that extra turret damage, not actually able to turn himself golden. Just Tuesday who gets the benefit of that, buying time for Phil to get down there for the lantern. A little bit of unfortunate play there. And on the top side, like we said, Zag lost his flash, but grabbed 2 objectives and got the local turret gold all for himself.
Yep, macro versus micro, so nice dive there by Delta Fox. Nice idea to the dive, but the execution still a little bit lacking. But on the opposite side, you're gonna get punished when you go for those plays.
Yeah, the big thing too is the fact that Delta Fox didn't even get a turret with that play, so not much of a gain for that 1 kill. Still sitting on that Rift Herald, want to see what they choose to do with it. Sending Ashe in the mid lane by CLG Academy is a great call here, with Echo having a hard time wave clearing against that potential Rift Herald in the mid lane. This is going to force Delta Fox to find a different angle to use it.
I want to highlight the play of former All-Star mid laner Skara here at the jungle position, 3-1-1. Didn't fall as far behind as he did last time against Omar. Obviously, champions have something to do with that, as we see Boyboy miss that one out. But really good on him to continue to push the pressure for the rest of his team, as Bandit forced to use Slicing Maelstrom. Boyboy trying to get the knock-up, isn't able to. Now might be in a little bit of trouble. Already used the wind wall, and just an auto attack is going to take him down. Fallen Bandit playing that one perfectly.
A little surprising to see those lane setups out of Delta Fox. Hold on here. Tuesday going to face check.
Tuesday gets popped up, found. Will he be able to get out of this one? The Ignite does go down. Yes, it is. Parallel Convergence, but here comes Skara trying to get a piece of it. Parallel Convergence going to stun Skara. Omar cleaning up the backside, and oh no, everything goes wrong for Delta Fox. 2 kills heading on over to CLG Academy.
They're able to collapse in time, make sure that Tuesday doesn't go down. That solo kill happening up on the top side. Like I was saying, you have some armor itemization built here on the side of Dyrus. Maybe he does a little bit better in that side lane, as Boyboy has MR built. Didn't benefit too much from that Hex Drinker proc. Still died with that magic shield up, I believe.
Yeah, the boy not able to find the right answer. And now CLG Academy have grown their lead to about a little under 6,000, but Omar, Fallen Bandit, and the rest of CLG are starting to live on the side of Delta Fox. Boyboy again caught in the split push, able to go ahead and dash away through the minions. And the chase begins.
Oh, lands a spear.
Going golden is no one, because Shifter's not able to land that one, but the chase continues. Boyboy now going to go ahead and concede. Will be able to land the final breath onto one. Shifter is very close, trying to help out his boy Omar, or take down Omar. Here comes Cutie Pie, picks that one up on the rocket jump, does have the reset. What does Delta Fox do? The teleport's coming in, they're kind of scattered back and forth. Nice binding coming out of Shifter. Tuesday very low, forced to teleport before where the teleport was back because of his ultimate, and now Fallen Bandit forced back up. Dyrus joining the fight late. No one grabbed the lantern. Dyrus wants a little bit of it. Does not have equalizer and forced to back off.
Yeah, it doesn't have that equalizer because he dropped it on the mid lane on Zag. Thought he was still playing PvE, but got ganked, getting griefed a little bit in that random PvP encounter. Dyrus picking up a kill before teleporting in. Didn't really get much off that teleport, unfortunately. So now he'll be down it when he tries to match up against Fallen Bandit later. Here it is, Zag, AFK split pushing. Oh my god, there's a rumble here.
Who would have thunk it? Dyrus able to pick up that easy one back up here up top. Tuesday using Chrono Break. Goes all the way back to where he teleported from and isn't in the fight.
Yep, gets out of there, which is a smart call. They did not want to keep fighting that one. The rest of the members able to get out without losing any extra teammates, avoiding a potentially worse situation. The gold lead did close a little bit, closer to 5,000 gold now for Delta Fox, but still, like we said, uphill battle for them to get back into this game.
Again, we're seeing the fight out of Delta Fox to continue to find ways back in the game, and CLG Academy does have the lead. They're continuing to trade objectives after each fight. That last one, though, getting caught out was Ashe. We do see Fallen Bandit yet again getting caught in a little bit of a tough spot. Shifter thinking about going over with the Magical Journey. Decides, I'm okay, I don't need any vacation. He'll go ahead and stay. As we do see Skara walk himself into a spear and then out of trouble. On the top side of the map, though, you have Tuesday's Echo split pushing, and Dyrus is forced to answer without teleport.
It's going to be a little scary. Tuesday also not having teleport. Both of them kind of blew it in that top skirmish that happened a couple minutes ago. Void matching a little bit better against Fallen Bandit. Pretty important for him to actually land the knockup and get that ultimate. If he misses the knockup, there's basically no threat left on the cannon because he'll out damage it. And So you kind of need to get that CC instantly and then put him at a health deficit so you can actually threaten.
Skara thinking about getting a piece, but decides against it. Now, Boy, nice wind wall to stop the ultimate out, but the boy in a little bit of trouble. Nice tempered fade coming out of Shifter, and the damage gets turned around. Fallen Bandit forced to flash away. Magical Journey will get them out, but overall, CLG Academy taking the dragon.
Some early Ninja Tabbies doing a lot of work there, as well as having a fairly large health pool with that giant belt built already. Fallen Bandit seems to like to itemize a little bit more defensively than you see out of some other cannons. Doesn't go for the early Hurricane or anything, just wants to get some health behind him so he can continue to play aggressively and not worry about any kind of attention that he might pull.
One thing that we haven't talked about lately is Cutie Pie, who has been farming up, unfortunately just not as efficiently as Zag, who's been getting to play PvE across the map, but that is something that will scale as the game gets later and later.
Definitely a strong scaling champion in Tristana, but Delta Fox not known to reach the late game too often.
Unfortunately, no, they're not. The end.
Boy, continuing kind of this split push 1-3-1. Keeps going aggressive in these side lanes. He also is another one of those champions that continues to scale extremely well. And as long as you play him mechanically correctly, you win a lot of 1v1s. Not quite at that item power spike yet. Tuesday, almost a full item up against him. Gonna have a hard time if he matches up there. Kennen also about the same item, to be honest, but he will get that Frozen Mallet soon. And Yasuo, if there's a lot of creeps around, doesn't matter if you have that Frozen Mallet.
Right.
If there's none, you're going to get chased up a long lane and probably finished off.
It's pretty frustrating. Kennen obviously can go either AP and AP. There are two items to help him do that with the Chase, with the Rylai's or the Mallet. However, our attention turns over to Dyrus, who's getting soloed out by Tuesday. Both Proto Belts used, but Dyrus has nowhere to go. He gets taken down. Easy kill for Tuesday. Dyrus pushing without vision.
One of the harder things to do, playing a side lane without vision, gets collapsed on pretty easily there. Holds on to his equalizer, knowing he's not going to be able to trade that kill back. Saving it in case a team fight breaks out pretty soon. CLG Academy just setting up shop in this top jungle. And Delta Fox not really forcing them out of there.
Both teams now starting to slow down, but again, we're getting to see CLG Academy live in the jungle of Delta Fox, and without the proper vision, they can't go in there. There's so much damage up front first, and we've seen already a couple face checks by both Dyrus and Boy that has led to disastrous results here. Oh, nice Magical Journey there by Shifter. Everyone gets caught up in the parallel convergence. No damage afterwards, but here comes Tempered Fate. It does land onto Zag. This might be something that Skara finds. Oh, on Burrow's a little bit too late. Death Sentence being written there on the Cutie Pie. Nice catch there by Phil. Equalizer does go down, but Skara goes down even faster. And now, so far, 2 people have gone down for Delta Fox.
22 minutes into the game, they might turn onto this Baron. Tuesday a little bit caught out of position, takes the Lantern out. And a nice play out of CLG Academy. The turret was very low. They Ash Arrow Cutie Pie, and even though he's able to jump out of danger, it means that there's no one really stuck on wave clear duty. They're able to take the mid turret and win the skirmish after. Now looking at Baron.
Yeah, it is an early Baron, and we did see this last time. It was a little bit more free last time, but it's getting lower. Skara's not here, and Delta Fox deciding against it. Another early Baron heading on over to CLG Academy to pop this game wide open.
And Skara with that Smite, not alive, contest it. And CLG Academy, even though they, it's early in the game, they don't have a ton of armor, they do a lot of damage. So there are 4 main champions of Kennen in Italy. Echo and Ash can burn that down really fast. Take a look at that fight again. You see the missed time on Burrow just a little bit there. Hard fight to win anyways. Equalizer, there's no CC to keep people on top of it, so they just sidestep around the scene. And then try and get on the Shifter for that last kill.
Yeah, big time hook again by Phil onto Cutie Pie, who just hasn't been able to participate in too many fights so far. Getting deleted right away doesn't bode well for him, and the reset of Rocket Jump. And that's why the Rumble ultimate went down on top of him. Maybe it's like, all right, they're going to tunnel on top of Cutie Pie. We'll be able to turn around the damage. Not at all. And the Baron heads on over to Counter Logic Gaming Academy, who continue to march us forward with a 10,000 gold lead here, 23 minutes into the game.
Big lead, no inhibitor turrets down quite yet, but their comp is decent at taking them. You have a lot of range with the mid laner of Echo being the only one who's melee. And even then in a split push with the Lich Bane, he's still going to do a lot of damage to a turret.
12 to 8, 23 minutes, 30 seconds into this Game 2 matchup between Counter Logic Gaming and Delta Fox. CLG Academy had their only win so far against Delta Fox. They do have slim hopes of the playoffs. by possibly edging out Big Gott's Jackals for the 4th place slot. Had to take care of business here, and they're doing so far. And Delta Fox have looked good in spurts. They just haven't been able to put it together, as we see another siege for a tower where Delta Fox is late.
And that's the thing, is in competitive play, what's super important is consistency. There's a lot of good players out there, even in the Challenger Series, but if you can't put it on the, on the Rift every single time, you're going to have a hard time having a big impact in the games. And you got to think about Delta Fox's coaching staff unable to get any of that consistency out of his team.
Yeah, possible changes for next season. So I've heard, not exactly sure, as we see CLG Academy continue to push down the base. Boy not able to land Steel Tempest, and unfortunately their base is starting to turn into tatter.
But this 1-3-1 is very hard for them to deal with. They don't really have a great ultimate, or engaged tool aside for Shifter's ultimate, which is currently on cooldown. So Skara is basically the only guy left available who can really start something out. Maybe you see a buster shot into ultimate for Voyboy. But
nice play by Tuesday to get himself out of that. And again, looking for anything. Delta Fox send 4 down to the bottom side of the map and lose the tower. All the while on the top side, Fallen Bandit's getting in. Voyboy able to get an ultimate down on his Zag. Zag is very low, does get the stun down, but it doesn't matter. Down he goes. The inhibitor on the top side goes by the wayside though. And now Fallen Bandit in a little tricky position. 4 members of Delta Fox trying to converge onto him. As the rest of CLG Academy coming in, Descend's not gonna land, but it doesn't matter because down goes Shifter. Here goes the rest of the team. Omar God popping off, not able to find too much. Dyrus picking up kills. Now it's Dyrus and Tuesday going back and forth. Voyboy able to clean up a little bit, and right now the only one left alive is Tuesday. Tuesday going in. Oh, turns around the damage. Voy flashing forward, tries to get the Steel Tempest. Looking goofy because he doesn't get anything. Parallel Convergence goes down. Voyboy able to pick up the kill though. It's an ace heading on over to Delta Fox, but what's left of their base?
2 inhibitors.
2 inhibitors.
Next there. It's
take a look back at the replay here.
Yeah, it starts out all of CLG Academy want to go in to try and save Fallen Bandit there, unable to really do so. This fight all started off, of course, with that kind of insect we were talking about with Tristana able to ult onto Zag, which allows Voy to get his ultimate off as well. Cool. And Tuesday, a very fed Echo, you see, able to blow up Dyrus here and almost gets the 1v1 versus Voy. Just doesn't throw the parallel convergence quite far enough back to buy himself enough time to get underneath it, because he had the damage to win that fight, just not the health bar.
Yeah, Z Resonance Drive doing a ton of damage by Tuesday, who's just massively ahead at 7-2-3, able to go back and finish some items. Take a look at the gold right there. No one on the side of Delta Fox in double digits. However, if you look on the opposite side, everyone on double digits except Phil for Logic Gaming Academy.
Not pulling his weight here. Should have 10K gold as a good support right there.
That's right, and his record is ruined now at 0-1-0 with that death. Always something to improve on. Good eye. That's a good eye of a coach.
Not going to give him the S.
Nope, not going to give him the S.
The client will not give him the S. Not enough CS as a support.
Will the coach give him the S?
Gets an S out of the coach.
He does get the S out of the coaches. Does Phil, as we are again close in kills, not so close in gold. 15-13. Logic Gaming Academy on top, along with Dragon Control as well. And both teams now trying to get vision, reset after the big fights in the base. Cutie Pie did have a kill in that last fight, wasn't able to completely pop off because Tuesday was able to shut that one down. But he's starting to scale, trying to get that second Energizer build item in the rapid fire cannon.
CLG Academy probably going to try and end that game before it comes to that. Pushing down this mid lane now, a little bit of a 1-3-1.
Oh.
Zag gets ulted out.
Zag does get caught out, flash forward into a hook, and Phil is able to foretell the future, gets a nice hook. Fallen Bandit with a slicing maelstrom. Voyboy goes up and does kill up Fallen Bandit. Everyone's still alive on Delta Fox. Never mind, there goes Tuesday. He's popping off 1, 2, 3 kills heading on over to the side of CLG Academy. It's a double kill. Cutie Pie, the last one on the menu, able to use the blast comb to get out of trouble, but Tuesday gonna tumble. Oh no, Cutie Pie, the pie goes down. He tastes delicious, and it's an ace heading on over to the side of CLG Academy.
Delta Fox looking for a pick off the back of another Shifter ultimate. Does work out initially, but once Tuesday joins the fight, that beefy Echo at 10 kills, able to close out that fight for them. Probably going to close out the game. They are having a little bit of trouble getting a minion wave in here, trying to tank the turrets up for some reason. They are getting low. And with that, first Nexus turret drops, the second Nexus turret going to drop. Looks like Shifter's going to drop again.
He goes down. That's the ace heading on over again for CLG Academy as They start respawning one at a time, but that's going to be the game. CLG Academy still alive in the North American Challenger Series for that final playoff spot as they take down Delta Fox 2-0.
A very quick series for CLG Academy. Get some good wins there, and you get to see what happens when you are able to get a lot of early picks off in that game. You get a lot of objective snowballing, the enemy team not trading as favorably as you might want. That one play down the bot side where they went super hard to finish off Fallen Bandit while Zag up on the top side just mowing down turrets by himself. Those kinds of plays are very hard to recover from.
All right, and unfortunately, Delta Fox has made some plays, and again, it's been the story of their season. Good plays, good ideas, not the best execution.
Yeah, they always seem to struggle to keep up in a couple different categories. While they're able to keep up in kills because mechanically they can play the skirmishes decently well, usually they're behind in CS because their minion waves are not quite set up right when they take those fights, or they're losing turrets or dragons at the back end of them. So overall, they're a team that just needs a little bit more help getting those kinds of objectives off the back end of fights.
Yeah, we got to ask where they can find that help. That's a big question for Delta Fox as we move in to the final week. We have with the penultimate week of the regular season complete, let's take a look how the teams stand. In first place, it's E United leading the pack, undefeated after 4 weeks of competition. And with their win tonight, Gold Coin United takes sole possession of second place. Tempo Storm and Big God Jackals complete the playoff picture in third and fourth, while CLG Academy and Delta Fox round out the league.
Yep, overall, about what we expected this week to end with. E United still on top. A little bit of a surprise with Gold Coin toppling Tempo Storm tonight, but it was a very close series, so it's hard to definitively say one of those teams is better.
And so with that, that's all the League of Legends we've got for you tonight, but we have more North American LCS tomorrow afternoon. First up, the Danes in the mid lane face off with Cloud9 versus TSM, and then Phoenix One go up against Team Envy. These are some big-time matches here.
You gotta be excited for that Jensen-Bjergsen matchup. A lot of people have been putting Jensen as the early favorite for MVP this split, something I would definitely agree with. And he's going to have a tough time against Bjergsen because while he's probably playing individually better, it's not so significant that he can carry all of C9 against the rest of TSM, so he's got a tall task ahead of him.
I'm also excited to see the top laners do battle. Impact or Ray, which one is it? Going up against Hanser, all three of those players having not the dominant season that we're used to seeing them have all the time.
Yeah, but especially Impact and Ray have been struggling. They're very far behind in CSD, amongst the bottom in the league at those. And then while they still are able to execute some team fight situations and engages, their ability to really kind of farm evenly or even pressure their opponents seems pretty much non-existent, whereas on the flip side, Hanser, despite a lot of his struggles in terms of staying alive, still has really good laning stats.
Right, and then on the second matchup, you got to talk about the battle of the junglers. It's going to be Mike Young and Lyra going head-to-head here. That's a little bit of a lease-in matchup there.
Yeah, it's a little scary, especially considering that when Mike Young last played, it was against Rainover, who taught him a little bit of a lesson on jungling, and now he's going up against Lyra, what many consider to be the best jungler in the NALCS. Could be a bit of a rough 2 series out of Mike Young.
Oh, hopefully they'll be able to find some sort of success. But thanks for sticking around with Mark and me. I hope that you've enjoyed our special coverage of Delta Fox versus CLG Academy. Now, on behalf of myself, Mark, and the entire Challenger broadcast crew, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week for more league action.